You see that scene in The Godfather 2 where Michael sees Fredo in Cuba and he says, "I knew it was you all along, Fredo," and he just gives him the Italian kiss. Tom Price is toast. Done. Done. Now, I should back up. I know a little bit about this because I've been talking with some people that are close to Price. They thought he was on very thin ice earlier in the week, and it wasn't necessarily the plane business.
Because he was chartering planes,
right? It wasn't
jets.
From what I understand, it wasn't just that. What Trump was really mad about was that health care didn't get through, and he was put him in the circle of people he was blaming for that. He put Price in there. Obviously, Mitch McConnell he's not happy with, but he can't fire Mitch McConnell. He can fire Tom Price. So this is people close to Price.
A doctor from Congress was supposed to push through and really help to craft and push along and guarantee a change in the Obamacare system to make it less onerous and disastrous than it already is. He couldn't get it done. But
well,
if you just look, it's not entirely his fault. Of course not. But if you just look at the plane situation, it's not just the crime, it's the denial or the follow-up. His follow-up was, sure, I'll write a check for my seat. Instead of the whole plane, which was filled with HHS people, and that was way more than just his seat. Right.
Listen, I don't know all the ins and outs of this whole plane controversy. I think it's kind of it's not good optics.
It doesn't pass the smell test. Eyes, nose,
maybe
ears.
they had a real reason to do it. I will say this, though, just so people know, the word that I got, and I got this during the week before today, like 2 days ago, was that Tom Price knew he was out, and it was less that Trump cared about the planes. The planes were just the icing on the cake. What he was really livid about was health care, and he was like, okay, this guy's taking planes, and he can't get health care through. So that was the upshot. The other thing in this that was interesting, he mentioned the Fed chair.
4 meetings he's had.
4 meetings he had, and we were preparing to talk about, but this was obviously breaking news. Was that Kevin Warsh, the former Fed governor, now
you pegged as a candidate?
I more than pegged it. I think he's got the inside track. Okay, for a lot of reasons. Now he spoke with Yellen. I think it was Ivanka spoke with Yellen. He spoke with Jerome Powell, another former Fed governor.
That was the latest one we heard about this afternoon.
He's obviously spoken with Gary Cohn in the past, his NEC chair.
Do you think Gary counts as one of the 4?
I think he counts as one of the 4 he spoke to. He's clearly in the group of people that are being considered. I don't think he's going to get it now, and I think it's clear that the president signaled that he was very annoyed at Gary Cohn because of he did not support him on the Charlottesville remarks. It is what it is. Kevin Warsh is interesting in this sense, and here's why I think he's got the inside track. But here's my note of caution. I know this guy pretty well. I would say he's a friend of mine. He's a longtime investment banker on Wall Street. That's good. He understands Wall Street. He's not an economist. And if you notice, Trump is going for people like Gary Cohn who aren't really economists. Even Jerome Powell, I don't think, is a lawyer. But what gives him the edge, I think, this guy, is that he is not an economist. He's a Harvard Law graduate. He understands business. He's got a bachelor's from Stanford in public policy, but he was immersed in economic policy for a long time. So if you're going to get a non-economist, you got through him a guy that's immersed in. And by the way,
he's close to the family too, right?
Well, that was the second. I want to make one other point. He was involved in the bank bailouts, a key player in the bank bailouts in 2008.
Some people might not like that.
Well, he saved the financial system, and he was one of the guys, Liz, that wanted them to end QE earlier than Ben Bernanke.
Yeah, he's more hawkish. On raising rates and ending
now, I wonder if Donald Trump likes that, because he's always Mr. Easy Money. He said it. Now, here's the positive to outweigh maybe that negative, is that there's a family connection. His wife is the daughter, so his father-in-law is Ron Lauder, a longtime New York State Republican, someone who is pretty close with Donald Trump, considered an unofficial advisor. Ron Lauder's been around forever. So he does have a...
And Kevin Warsh looks really young. Would he be the youngest Fed chief ever?
That's a great question. I think yes. But I think what'll be bigger than even that, Liz, is if he gets it, it'll be the first non-economist in 38 years. There was a guy named Miller, I believe his name is, I'm going to say William Miller. I might get it wrong. He was Jimmy Carter's Fed chair for like a year or a few months. He was a CEO type. Everybody else after that, Volcker, Greenspan, Bernanke, Yellen, the last 4, they've all been, highly trained economists, immersed in numbers and stuff. Kevin Warsh won't be that, but I'll tell you, it doesn't look like Trump's going that way anyway.
Last word, Health and Human Services, Tom Price. out tonight?
I think he's toast. He just said it. He said the same thing that he said about Bannon. Remember? Nice guy.
He's a good man.
Wonderful man. And I said it then. I said, that's the kiss of death. That's Michael taking Fredo's face. I knew it was you all along, Fredo. I knew it was you. You broke my heart.
Charlie, have a good weekend.